I've taken a lot of different supplements over the years and experimented with a ton. Some have served their purpose, but I've stopped using them because I don't need them anymore. Others are absolutely useless. And then there's some that I still do take on a daily basis, although it's probably a lot less than you would imagine. So today I'm sharing the only supplements that I'm currently taking as a nutritionist. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. Now, note that these are all supplements that I'm currently taking. So make sure that you talk to your nutritionist, to your naturopath, to your doctor. If you decide to take any supplements yourself, especially if you're taking medications, you want to make sure that it's something that doesn't have a nutrient drug interaction, and you want to make sure that it actually serves you and your goals. And the first one that I take and I talk a lot about is magnesium. I have a couple different brands that I usually recommend depending on what you're looking for, but I take magnesium for sleep and improving my sleep quality and getting the downstream benefits of making sure that I don't get muscle cramps in the middle of the night, and to make sure that my anxiety levels are in check, because poor sleep just really raises my anxiety level the next day. So I make sure to fully optimize as much as I can my sleep quality. I also just feel more energized and like I recovered from my workout better when I do take magnesium. So there's two different ones that I will take. This one, Life Extension, is kind of like your standard budget one. I think this bottle costs like $9 and it has 100 caps and it's 500 milligrams. So the reason why this one is so much less expensive is because it does use a less absorbable form of magnesium. So it's a little bit better, especially if you struggle from constipation and you need some relief from that. You actually want the slightly less absorbable magnesium, but it also does have some forms of the more absorbable magnesium, so it's a good one just to like have on hand. And I will have all the supplements that I mentioned today linked in a blog post down below if you guys want to check those out. This is the other one that I take that is much more absorbable. For one serving, you do have to take 2 capsules, and that's to get about 300 milligrams of magnesium. So even though this one does have less magnesium, it's a more absorbable magnesium, so you get more in the blood supply. So this is the one that I'll take on more of a frequent basis to make sure I'm getting the magnesium actually in my body. Magnesium can be a little bit of a tricky topic because there are so many different forms. It can be really confusing. So I did do a video in the past on magnesium, the benefits, and the types of magnesium to look for. If you guys want to check that out, I'll have it linked right up here. Okay, the next one is Cod Liver Oil. So this is one of the brands that I'll have, but the other brand that I usually like to get is the Nordic Naturals. So I remember I used to take this as a kid before they had like the nice natural lemon flavored ones. And I think that turned me off from taking it for a long time. But ever since becoming pregnant and since I don't eat a ton of seafood, I wanted to make sure I was getting the DHA and EPA for brain development. So I started taking cod liver oil around that time. And this is one that I'm going to continue taking, assuming that I still stick with my like less seafood intake. Now I like to take cod liver oil, not just regular fish oil, because obviously the EPA and DHA, but specifically to cod liver oil, it also is going to be higher in vitamins A and D. And about 7 years ago, I took a vitamin D blood test just to see where I was at. My levels were horrendously low. Like, I don't even know how I was still alive, which was crazy to me because I did spend so much time in the sun, but I also never eat seafood. And vitamin D is so important for bone density. Vitamin A is so important for skin and eye health. So I just decided I'm gonna bite the bullet, take the teaspoon of cod liver fish oil, call it a day. Okay, the next thing that I take on a daily, or actually not a daily basis, I take this one like every other day, is vitamin D3/K2. This is one that I personally take. Now, because I'm already getting some vitamin D from the cod liver fish oil that I'm taking every day, I only take this one every other day because I don't want to load up too high on vitamin D3. But I personally wanted to make sure that any D3 that I was taking also came with K2. And this is something a lot of people overlook, but if you take D3 and you don't get it with K2, it can actually result in some issues because you need to have that combination of D3, K2, and then also calcium from the diet to make sure that you're actually getting the benefits of all three, because all three kind of work together to make sure it can take calcium out of the arteries and put it into the bones. Otherwise, low levels of any one of these could lead to issues of the calcium not actually getting into the bones and just sticking to the arteries and leading to heart health issues. Now, I also get K2 naturally in my diet from fermented Greek yogurt, also from pasture-raised eggs, but to cover my bases, and since I do need to be taking D3, I go for a D3 K2 combo. Okay, the next supplement I take every single day is my zero sugar protein powder. It is surprisingly hard to get enough protein in a day. If you've been watching my channel even for a little bit, and if you've done your protein calculation, you probably have seen that you're also vastly under eating on protein. Protein is so satiating, which just basically means it makes you feel full and satisfied, that unless you're really actively making sure that each of your meals has the adequate amount of protein, you're probably not getting anywhere close to enough. And we need enough protein for our bone health, for maintaining or even increasing muscle mass, which is so important for maintaining metabolism. Too low protein can result in muscle loss, which actually lowers metabolism. And I've just found so many women especially are vastly under consuming on protein, usually anywhere between 30 to 60 grams per day shy of what they really need. And too little protein can increase hunger, increase sugar cravings. And for myself, my history of having a sugar addiction, I strategically use protein to make sure that I don't have those sugar cravings. So I use 1 to 2 scoops of my zero sugar protein powder, pasture raised, every single day. I usually use it in like a smoothie, a chia pudding. I'll even stir it into Greek yogurt to up my protein content, or my protein hot chocolate. Oh my gosh, if you guys have not tried that recipe, it tastes like the real deal hot chocolate, but without any added sugar. It is insane, so good. I'll have the recipe linked up here because you guys need to try that. Plus, if you guys haven't used protein powder in the past and you aren't really sure how to use it in a way that will taste good, I specifically designed my protein powder to taste really amazing in recipes. And I also developed 10 recipes just for my protein powder that you get for free with each bag. So I'll have my protein powder linked down in the description below, but you can also find it on my website at autumnlnutrition.com/shop. Okay, the next thing that I'll take, not necessarily every day, but I do take, is iodine. This goes back to the fact that I don't eat a ton of seafood. Now, iodine is really important for thyroid health, and especially during pregnancy, which at the time of filming, I am still currently in the very late stages of pregnancy, but iodine needs tend to go up even higher during pregnancy. And what's cool about iodine is that you don't need to take a lot of it because it is a really trace mineral. You actually don't want to take a lot of it. Now, you do get iodine from seafood, you get it from dairy products or from fortified foods. So if you have like iodized salt, which I'm not a huge fan of, but if you do eat a lot of dairy or a lot of seafood, then you're probably okay. But since I am currently pregnant, I've been adding just 1 drop of this to my water per day just to make sure my bases are covered. Sophie's here to say hi. Hey girl, Sophie. We'll go for a walk after, Sophie. Okay, the next thing that I use every single day, and no, this is not an ad, it's just legitimately something I use every single day, is LMNT. So LMNT is an electrolyte mix that you add into water. It has 0 sugar and it's really high in electrolytes. A lot of the other electrolyte sticks or like drinks actually are pretty low in electrolytes. And because of my type of diet where I eat a more whole foods diet, it's not really processed. I'm not eating really highly insulin spiking foods that causes my body to retain excess water and sodium, and I exercise. All of that leads to me needing actually quite a bit of electrolytes. So I usually take 1, sometimes 2 of these per day. Now I've gotten a lot of people asking me on like if they have higher blood pressure, what they should be doing about electrolytes. The thing is, with higher blood pressure, you're probably in a state where your body is holding on to excess water and sodium, which means that you probably don't need the electrolytes at this time. But it is also important to note that with dietary changes, as well as with exercise, that can change pretty drastically. So if you do have higher blood pressure, it's always good to monitor that, especially if you're taking medication, and just keep in touch with your doctor because you might need to make some pretty rapid changes in terms of electrolytes and even medications after you've made a dietary or lifestyle change. This is something that I always advise for my clients who are on blood pressure medications when we work together, that they are working closely with their doctor and doing daily blood pressure checks. Because it's definitely not rare to see with clients where when they've made a significant change to their meals or with their exercise, that they see a pretty sudden drop in their blood pressure, and then their doctor needs to make sure that they can adjust their medications to make sure that everything's safe. Okay, the next thing I'm taking currently, at least right now, and for a little while longer, are my prenatals. So obviously I'm currently pregnant, but even after pregnancy, I'm going to be still taking prenatals because I will be breastfeeding, and I want to make sure that I'm still getting the nutrients that were often depleted during pregnancy. So originally I was using the gummies of this brand because it was the only one that I could tolerate because I was so sick during first trimester. But now I switched over to the 0 sugar capsule options, which I prefer this because I was not a fan of all the added sugar in the gummies. But you do what you have to do when you just can't eat anything. I like this prenatal for myself because it does use the more absorbable forms of different forms of vitamins, like vitamin B12 in the methylated form. So I'm currently taking this, and I'll probably be taking this for a while longer. at least while I'm breastfeeding. Okay, the next thing that I'll take, but I don't have it on hand because I don't take it every single day, is a lipospheric vitamin C. I take this and I'll show like an image right here of the specific one I use when I'm looking to knock out a cold. I don't take vitamin C on the daily, except for what's in my prenatals, which isn't that high, but I will load up on a couple of these packets throughout the day when I am feeling sick to help knock out a cold. Usually I'll take 3 to 4 packets throughout the day until I feel better. Which, speaking of, the other thing that I will take specifically when I'm not feeling well is oregano oil. I also don't have this on hand right now because I haven't been sick in a while, but oregano oil is a natural antibiotic that I found is so useful for me to help knock out a cold. Obviously with the food grade option, don't be taking the non-food grade option if you do choose to use oregano oil, but I'll use about 5 to 10 drops in like my homemade wellness shot. But I'll also add in lemon, turmeric, ginger, and chopped garlic, and that combo knocks things out. All of these are supplements I'm currently taking, but there might be some that I also do cycle in depending on like what's going on in my body or what my goals are at that time. So it's not like these are the only supplements that I'll ever take, but it's just what I'm taking right now. I also like to experiment with different products in the future just to see how my body responds and see if it's something that really is worth it. But I have found that with the plethora of vitamins on the market, there are just so many that are kind of a complete waste of money. So if you want to check out the supplements that I stopped taking, you can find that with this video right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.